It is 6:07, and there is a bit of good news now in the race to contain LA's two massive wildfires that continue to burn. Red flag warnings expired for much of Southern California Wednesday night.
That's right, and that allows firefighters to try and get ahead in the fight against these fires. NBC5's Lexi Suter is here in studio with us with an update this morning. And Lexi, you just got back from LA. You were covering these fires for KNBC.
Yeah, correct. Good morning, Evrod and Lisa. Great to be back with you. I was able to see firsthand what it looks like in Los Angeles and how thousands of firefighters are working around the clock to save homes and really entire neighborhoods. The Palisades and Eaton fires have collectively burned now more than 38,000 acres in LA County, but they are making progress. This is now day 9 in the fight against these fires. The concern this week was another round of strong Santa Ana winds, but those winds have subsided. And crews in the air and on the ground are able to take advantage of a lull in this weather to attack those flames. Now, as of this morning, the Palisades fire is 21% contained, and the Eaton fire is 45% contained. The devastation, though, is just overwhelming. The video of homes totally decimated. There is really nothing left standing but chimneys and fireplaces in some places. And that is the scene for blocks and blocks. Vehicles are charred that were just left parked on the street. And this video we're showing you now really illustrates how quickly people had to leave to get to safety. At least 25 people are confirmed dead this morning, and the search for the missing continues. Almost 90,000 people remain evacuated and out of their homes today, and that just shows this immediate threat still remains. The biggest point here, and I can't say this enough, is the weather. The calm winds will allow firefighters to continue their efforts to fully contain the fires and prevent, hopefully, any further loss. Evrod and Lisa.
Lexi Suter, thank you so much. And we're going to have much more with you coming up in our next half hour about your experience. Thank you.
Here in the Chicago area, people are finding ways to help victims of the wildfires in California, whether it's stepping up to raise money for those who've lost everything, including their homes, or suiting up to give rescue workers a much-needed break. Here's NBC5's Natalie Martinez.
This is Evanston native Megan Handley Katurgian and her 2 kids. This is her house in Altadena, California, before the wildfires and after. Before and after.
My heart is hurting.
Liz Ribeiro grew up with Megan in Evanston and at the local Presbyterian church.
She is just the nicest, kindest, most giving person, but unfortunately, fire doesn't care.
Tonight, Liz is collecting clothing and running an online fundraiser to help her lifelong friend in her darkest time.
For the past 7 years, has been running a nonprofit called Door of Hope, where she helps families transition out of homelessness and find their footing. And she's now found herself unhoused as well.
As these devastating wildfires continue to ravage California, veteran-led nonprofit Team Rubicon readies its Chicago Westtown Station volunteers, who they call Gray Shirts. Here they are cleaning up after the 2023 floods in Chicago's Austin neighborhood. And here they are in California. And while this group is based in LA, they've got 3,400 Chicagoland volunteers.
Our volunteers are represented by 60% military veterans. We also have retired firefighters, police officers, medical professionals, nurses, doctors, and then we also have civilians.
They're all trained in various areas to help clear paths for first responders to remain focused on fighting these fires.
Heavy equipment, chainsaws, and just manual labor to go ahead and fill sandbags for potential flooding and runoff and things of this nature, given the scarring from the fire area.
TRUSA.org is also looking for help tonight. Natalie Martinez, NBC5 News.
Now to those wildfires ravaging Southern California. Crews on high alert once again in the fire zone today.
Thankfully, the winds are expected to die down. They were expected to die down. They're expected to be strong, though, in places that were throughout tomorrow. Some of these places that have been surrounded by flames. NBC5's Alex Maragos joining us in the studio tonight with the latest on those brave efforts from those firefighters, Alex.
Yeah, hey, Stefan and Allison. Right now, 13 million or more are under what's described as particularly dangerous red flag warning. So that's an extreme designation, not often used by the National Weather Service, but that's the kind of weather that they expect today, to be on high alert. Tens of thousands of people, as you know, have already been displaced by the fires, and we now have collectively torn about an area the size of Miami combined. So many of them just can't go back to their neighborhoods yet. When they do, though, You've seen the pictures. This is the scene that so many are going to have to face. Their homes reduced to ash, rubble, and debris. Their cars parked on the street and driveways are just completely charred. Meanwhile, crews are working to soak smoldering homes, even if they've already burned in some of the debris that's left ahead of the return of these intense Santa Ana winds, with the hope they can try to prevent the spread of any new fires that may pop up.
Our goal is to address both the immediate challenges and the long-term needs of those infected by these devastating events.
Firefighters who've been on the job for 25, 30 years to say to me that in their entire careers, they have never seen destruction like this. They have never seen wind so fierce.
And take a look at this here. Some first responders were surprised to see that's Jay Leno right there in the middle, serving up food in a region that so many entertainers and famous people are calling home. Jay came in to do what he could to help a little bit. And Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass went on to say in that news conference, of course, they don't have hurricanes in Southern California, but she said, imagine a dry hurricane coming in and carrying fire. That's how she described what first responders have been facing. And making it through the next few days is going to be really key now that they have more resources in to try to prevent things from getting worse. But we'll just have to wait and see. Allison and Stefan.
Everybody's talking about the first responders and the...
Of course, you've seen people nationwide sending donations in to those who are impacted by these wildfires, and Chicago is doing its part. NBC5's Christian Farr has more on the local effort here to help.
This is not simply video of a man loading a truck.
We know this time is tough for those that are affected, who's lost everything.
And that's because what this man is loading up is a compassionate effort to help those trying to recover from the devastating wildfires in Los Angeles, California.
We got things like some water, we got things like blankets and toys for the children. We have some hygiene products.
Jarrell Poole works for World Vision, a religious nonprofit that follows its mission to help those in need. Poole manages World Vision's storehouse, one of many storehouses nationwide that have been charged with sending those much-needed supplies to people impacted by the LA wildfires.
We're just hoping to put a smile on their face for just a temporary moment to give them some relief and praying for them as well.
This is an absolute nightmare. This is an apocalyptic movie.
So far, the LA wildfires have claimed several lives, destroyed thousands of structures, and caused damage in the billions. Donations have arrived in California from all over the nation, and Poole says they will continue to help.
We know it's appreciated because we get the instant gratification at the distributions.
Besides those much needed supplies out there in LA, they're also sending a very special note to those dealing with those wildfires.
There's going to be hope in that bear. There's going to be hope in that message to let them know that hugs and prayers from Chicago.
On the west side, Christian Farr, NBC5 News.